Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Tuesday update, recorded on the 1st of July. And we've got another big low, as you well know, out in the Tasman Sea, currently bringing severe weather to New South Wales, which it's going to do for a couple more days. And at the same time, the low is deepening and expanding and will push out towards New Zealand. So both parts of New Zealand and parts of Australia will both be getting severe weather at the same time due to this developing low. Plenty of thunderstorms out at sea, but for now, most of New Zealand's actually outside the worst of the weather. And so apart from a bit of cloud around today, we're actually underneath high pressure, which you can see very clearly here on the animated map. High pressure comes from out of Australia, past Tasmania and into New Zealand, and it stretches all the way up to Fiji, Vanuatu and New Caledonia, and that airflow is helping to fuel and deepen that low pressure system off the coast of New South Wales. Sydney at the moment getting some pretty strong winds and heavy rain from that. So let's try and make sense of what is going on. With the high pressure over us, that means light winds, clearer skies, and a chance of frost. So this is overnight tonight going into tomorrow morning. Most of the frost through the alpine areas, Mackenzie country and places like that, and a slight frost around the central plateau. Go through to Thursday morning, that frost risk has shrunk in both of the main islands. It's cleared out of the North Island and shrunk a wee bit into the South Island as the low approaches. So this is noon Wednesday. High pressure now pushing out to the east of the country. That subtropical airflow I was telling you about, there's Fiji and Tonga. That is the airflow coming into not only the top of the North Island, but also the very south of the South Island. So this warmer airflow is going to be moving in as we go across Wednesday and into Thursday as the big high pressure system here pushes out to the east. The low gets bigger as we go into Wednesday and Thursday. Most of the energy over around New South Wales. We've got another video out today, a special one about what is going on in New South Wales. But you can see that warmer wind moves in, but warmer, warmer for this time of the year. And a few showers coming in to the northeastern parts of the North Island. Nothing too much in there, just that cloud building up. And also the northeasterly winds, or northeasterly, will start to pick up as well, becoming blustery in exposed places like marine areas, for example. So Thursday, this is when both New Zealand and Australia have severe weather at the same time. We've got strong to gale force northerly winds around New Zealand. They'll be a bit more northwest or northeast, depending on where you are, and some heavy areas of rain, mostly into the very northwest corner of both of the main islands. So Tasman and Nelson and around the far north, getting some of that heavier rain where there may be some isolated thunderstorms and squally sort of showers moving through. Jump over to the other side of Australia, or over to Australia, they've got big strong southeasterlies and heavy rain there in New South Wales. But the low itself, quite messy in the centre with a couple of kind of centres to it, which stretches the energy out a little bit. Driest weather will be at the southern part of the South Island and once again, Fiordland rainforest. Let's go through to Friday. Now the low moves in, just like the one we saw at the end of last week. It's being stretched apart, two centres, one in the Tasman and a new one forming off the coast of Dunedin. It kind of transfers the energy over the top of the Southern Alps. The subtropical portion of the weather now starting to clear away from the eastern side of Bay of Plenty, which could be one of the regions along with Nelson and Tasman that get some of the heaviest rain from this event. And then you see other sort of usual showers, although they could be heavy with some isolated thunder or at least just a big downpour, just like we saw last week. But once we get into the weekend, the leftovers of the low just sitting out here around Waikato and Auckland, a few more showers. Again, one or two could be heavy, but for the most part, the weather is easing and clearing on Saturday, that low dropping away very fast. So while it does look similar to the low that we had a week ago, the end of last week, it does have some differences, and so that's why I always say no two events are ever the same. They're as unique as your fingerprints, and while they might look similar, they can actually have quite different weather as they move on in and different areas affected. But I think it's fair to say that the regions that just got hit by some heavy rain have it again, although maybe Marlborough not quite so much. By Sunday, there is a southerly flow working its way up across the country. Low pressure now east of New Zealand, high pressure west of us, so that's the classic south to southwesterly flow. Some areas it might even be a little more southeasterly around Waited Upper, for example. So that's going to drop temperatures after some of you had the subtropical winds. Now we see a colder airflow. In fact, the polar airflow comes back to Southland again in Stewart Island. You'll feel that on Sunday. So will parts of coastal Otago. And by Monday, smack bang, high pressure again over the top of us. So we've got mostly light winds, still a lingering southeasterly for Hawke's Bay and up towards East Cape. Otherwise, not a lot really going on with that big high firmly in control. And while, yes, there is another low pressure system forming around Eastern Australia, at this stage, it doesn't look as though it's quite as big as the lows that we've just had. So it's a messy pattern. We're in the middle of winter. What do you expect? And look at this, a lot more low pressure yet to come on through. The Southern Ocean usually gets its stormiest weather around about now and going through the next few months. So we'll be watching very closely what is going on down around Antarctica and the Southern Ocean. That's all from me for today, but don't forget we've got our Climate Watch update out today as well. And on top of that, we've also got a special New South Wales update. So please join us if you want to track those weather systems even more and see what is around the corner here in the month of July. Have a good day. We'll see you again tomorrow, Wednesday, with our next New Zealand update.